America is about paperwork. Now, I want you to listen to this video from the beginning to the end because there will be some stuff that you will need to know. So let's go ahead and talk about the most important part of paperwork when you're going out for business funding. Now, this is what I'm experiencing. I have $50,000 to $75,000 credit cards. Actually, there's proof of those credit cards in the community section. And I also have multiple six-figure lines of credit. Now, for you to get $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 line of credit, you will absolutely have to show tax returns. There's no way around it except with QuickBooks Capital. QuickBooks Capital, if your bank statements are showing enough, you can get up to $150,000 with QuickBooks Capital, a 1 month payment for 12 to 24 months. So QuickBooks Capital, and let's go ahead and talk about some other stuff. QuickBooks Capital, you can get six figures. Stripe, the payment processor, you can get six figures. PayPal, the payment processor, you can get six-figure loans. Now, the difference with QuickBooks Capital, it's a loan. Stripe, it's a loan. PayPal, it's a loan. And essentially what I like about lines of credit is you can use them, you can pay them off, and you can reuse them. With the loans, it's a one-time deal, except with QuickBooks Capital, if you go ahead and pay off your loan early, more than likely you can get another loan and just kind of reset that. But once again, you have to be careful. But here's the thing. With with Truist, I had to do some explaining because I had the car rental business last year, and the car rental business completely, absolutely sucked. And this put a negative on my tax returns. Fortunately, I was able to talk through that situation because I had enough profitability on another side. But once again, you've got to be really, really careful going out and getting funding on a business side. And once again, you need to file what I call a correct tax return. A correct tax return is not a return with a bunch of markdowns, deductions, losses. Now, if you go ahead and let's say with the car rental business, let's say the car rental business did really well, I could take a deduction for owning those cars, 5%, 20% deduction over 5 years for owning those cars. That's not as negative an impact as me taking a straight up deduction. Like this year, my tax returns look like trash because I have a $400,000 write-down, deduction, loss, because I shut down the car business. So this year, I'm not trying to go for any business funding because I already know they're going to ask for tax returns. You want to start a business, you want to set up a holding company, an operating company, you want to get yourself some business credit. You want to learn how to run a business. You want to start your first online business. If you want to do that, and congratulations to you for being a person that wants more out of life, for being that person that's ready to sit down, do the work so your future can be brighter. I got some for you. Go below and enter into the Corporate Citizen Playbook where we teach you all of that plus a lot more, because you are not a normal, regular person. You want more out of life. You want to do more. You want to be more. You want to have more. And congratulations to you. So the link is below. Go ahead and check out this video and then go ahead and enroll in the Corporate Citizen Playbook where I teach you some things that you cannot Google. Can't Google it. Can't Google it at all. Some people are going to ask for a profit and loss statement, and some people are going to ask for even more. So this year, I'm not applying for any more business credit. Another thing you need to have are business bank accounts. All right, Typically, for many people, the minimum amount of money your business needs to grossly generate is $40,000 per month. And you need to have not one, not two, but 3 months of $40,000 a month coming into your business bank account. Now, I have a hack for those of you who enroll in the Corporate Citizen Playbook to get you around that. But once again, you still need some money. So typically for banks, there's a whole nother line of funding out here. There are many people who do what I call high risk business funding. Like, give you an example, with my QuickBooks Capital loan, I have to pay them $10,000 in interest for using their $125,000 for 1 year. To me, that's rather reasonable, okay? But many of these business credit funding companies will hit you over the head at a similar rate for way less money. I actually did this for YouTube. I went ahead and got into a loan agreement. I only got $20,000. But guess how much the repayment fee is? It's $10,000 for $20,000. So when you get into these funding sources and actually I felt this was very intrusive because they want to actually look at your bank accounts. They want to actually look at your bank accounts, not just look at a bank statement. No. They want to log in and look at your bank account so they can see what's going on. And if you're getting funding from another funding source, they're going to run. And to me, like QuickBooks Capital, I got $125,000 and it was just an application. But QuickBooks Capital had access to my bank statements because I had a QuickBooks Capital account. And Stripe had access to my payment process, and PayPal had access to my payment process. So those were relatively painless and easy loans to get. Now, credit cards. Credit cards to me are the easiest things you can get. But, do you want a business credit card with a $5,000 limit? Or do you want a business credit card with a $50,000 or $75,000 limit? Listen very, very carefully. You're not going to get those type of business credit cards from most banks. I know there are many people who are running that you must go into the bank and talk to a funding manager. Okay, this is how it goes. And this is about having your paperwork in order. First of all, your personal credit report must show high limit credit cards. If you've got a bunch of $1,000 to $5,000 credit cards on your personal credit, at the most you're going to get is a $10,000 business credit card. You're not going to get a 25, you're not going to get a 30, you're not going to get a 50,000. Now, one of the reasons that I was able to get such high limit credit cards with American Express is because American Express wants to look at your checking account. They want to go through Plaid and they want to look at the last 3 month statements. And the last time that I applied, because once again, I have learned how to apply for American Express if I want a $50,000 limit or greater, I need to leave money in the bank. Let me say that again. I need to leave money in the bank. For me to get a really high credit limit, if American Express, when they do and actually American Express for initially when I applied for American Express, for 4 cards, they looked at my business checking. Now, once again, let me go ahead and tell you how to work American Express. You will see that many people will say, hey, be careful with your income. Don't lie, because American Express will check you. Let me give you a reason why American Express will check you. You're going to say that you're making $250,000 a year personal income, and you get an American Express card, you don't use it, and you bleed off the bonus, and you just throw that card in your sock drawer. I have used American Express, and it's been a little bit over a year, but I've spent close to $500,000 using American Express. I don't even carry a balance with American Express. And at the moment I have, let me just kind of go through it because I don't have my phone, but I have 1, 2, three, four, I have 6 American Express credit cards, and I have 5 American Express charge cards. Come October, I'm going to reconfigure it because there's 2 of those charge cards that are going to disappear at the end of October because I don't need them. But I'm going to leave them in fully in effect. And once again, this is how you use the American Express. Once again, I don't care about the fees. I know a lot of people are like, well, it's got this high annual fee. Once again, with American Express, my spend level is so high that for any American Express card, I'm going to, with the American Express Platinum, Delta Platinum card, I went through that in like 4 months where I spent $50,000 on that card and maxed out the bonuses I can get. And next year, I'm gonna do it where I'm gonna go with the American Express Reserve, where I have to spend $150,000 to max that card out and to get to that elite flight status. But with American Express, if you use the card and you consistently pay them, you're not gonna have any problems. But if you're gonna go ahead and lie about your income and don't use the income and don't use the cards and just bleed off the bonus, this is where you can get into the bonus deadline, where you go in and they're gonna tell you that you can't get the bonus because you're not using the card. Me spending like $450,000, I think I made American Express like $40,000. So I'm a highly profitable customer. If you're a highly profitable customer with American Express, you're using the card and you're paying the card, you're not gonna have any problems with American Express. You're just not. But if you're just kind of like playing what I call credit card games, where you're gonna lie on your app, and once again, they're not going to, and also with American Express, my first business platinum, they only gave me a $20,000 pay over time limit. But after using their cards, and this is the thing, this is something else. I have multiple American Express cards, and many times when I make payments, I'm making 5 to 6 payments. I'm paying 5 to 6 credit cards on the same day. So you have to use them, and because American Express will not give you a credit limit increase if you're not using the cards. I know there's a lot of rumors out there like you can go ahead and 3 extra credit limit. That's not going to work in the current economic environment. So with American Express, use the card, pay the cards off, you'll be perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Now, with other business credit cards, and this is one of the things I'm seeing, that they're going to give you what I call a low limit. My Truist card, I got 10,000 on one. My next Truist, I got 15,000. But PNC was a little different. PNC, I applied for 1 credit card, but I got 2. So those credit cards was $20,000 with the 2. And I recently applied for another PNC line of credit and another credit card. I'll see what those will be probably sometime this week. But once again, when you start a relationship with a bank frequently, and QuickBooks did the same thing. QuickBooks only gave me $60,000 the first time. And then once I used that card, I consistently paid them off. I always paid them early. I never paid them late. I never played with that. I always paid them early. And I got $125,000. And now I know how much money I need to leave in my account for me to get that $150 next time. What is this thing is? We're living in the United States of America. The United States of America is a paperwork. Bank statements, tax returns, bank statements, and more importantly, your LLCs. Now, with your LLCs, once again, this is why I tell you, set up a holding company and set up your operating company and get your credit through your holding company. When you get your credit through your holding company, it's going to be a different ballgame because you can use the NAS code of management. Like, well, this is a company and we just manage other companies. We actually don't do business with the public. We just manage other companies that are doing business with the public. And this is what you tell your banker, because with the bankers, everything is different. Everything is very, very different in terms of getting the credit cards, in terms of getting the lines of credit, in terms of, because let me go ahead and tell you a strategy that's coming up. And right now I'm on pause because I have too many inquiries and I'm not going to apply for anything else Not definitely. I'm not applying for anything personal because I got like $500,000 in personal credit cards. I don't need anything personal. And frankly, I'm probably going to start getting rid of some of my personal credit cards because I just don't use them. But this is the strategy. This is United States of America. This is about paperwork. I'm going to go to Fifth Third, probably December, because at that point, let's see, September, October, 4 months. Let my credit reports kind of cool off. I'm pretty sure that Fifth Third pulls from TransUnion. And what's my most heavily hit credit report? Experian. What's my second most hit credit report? TransUnion. And my third hit credit report is Equifax. So I need to kind of let that cool off a little bit before I apply for anything else. And Fifth Third has a strategy. With Fifth Third, you must open up a checking account, season that checking account, and then apply for their credit products. So I may actually open up a Fifth Third checking account. It just kind of depends. I got to look at my paperwork and stuff, but I know that I must open up the business checking account. I must run money through that account and then apply for their credit card. And then already know for the line of credit, I'm probably going to have my tax returns. And once again, I am not, and this is why I'm doing December, because essentially as soon as I can, I'm going to file my tax returns for 2023, because that's going to be a really, really good tax return and I can get a lot of stuff. I'm going to hit Fifth Third up next year. I'm going to hit Chase up next year. I will be under 524. And yes, if you're above 524, you cannot get a personal credit card from Chase. You cannot get a business credit card from Chase. And you definitely cannot get a line of credit from Chase. And with Chase, you must show your tax returns to get a line of credit. So I already know this. And that's my plan for next year. Because at that point, summer of 2024, my credit reports will cool off. I'll be well under 524. And then I'll go ahead and get some Chase business products, the line of credit. And like, what, I know you're saying, why are you getting all this credit? You got all this cash. The best time to build and get business credit is when you don't need it. That's the best time. And this is why I am stacking up on my business credit, because frankly, I don't need it. I got enough cash in the bank to run my business. But, here's the thing. If I ever find myself in a situation where I need to have credit, I will already have established and used credit. Because with American Express, like American Express on my cards, I don't carry a balance from month to month. Usually I pay them off in full, whether it's the charge card or the credit card. Why am I doing that? I have a strategy. Before I start carrying balances with American Express, I want to be finished with American Express, meaning that I have no intentions of applying for anything else. I got everything I want. And, once and also I know I have to be careful, because once you start getting to $100,000 credit limit with American Express, this is when American Express starts becoming very inquisitive. This is when they're going to ask for the 450C copy of your tax returns. I already know that's coming. So I'm pretty much done with American Express, because literally I got $1 million in business credit. I got $550,000 in business credit that I can use and pay over time. So once again, October, we'll see what happens, but pretty much done with American Express. And then I'm going to start opening up relationships, because now I'm in the position to see what's going to happen with Truist, because I have products with Truist. And once we go ahead and use them and get them paid off, we can see what we can get in the future. Now, your LLC. This is why I tell people, set up your holding company, set up your operating companies, and set up your holding company. You can call your holding company Mrs. Duncan's Donuts, whatever, something real simple, something really, you can call it Calvin Enterprises or something very basic, simple, and plain. Because when you go ahead, like if I was going to start a trucking company, I would have the holding company set up, and then I would start the trucking company under the holding company, because I already know that getting certain lines of credit for trucking companies can be quite difficult, even if the trucking company is making money. So this is America. It's about having your paperwork. And why did I start off with tax returns? Because a lot of people do not want to file their tax returns, or they want to file what I call rogue tax returns, where they're writing everything off. And this is going to make it extremely difficult for you to get any business funding. I have a friend, he had a really rough year, and he went through hell trying to get a HELOC. I mean, they took it down to the nth minute. So once again, financing, getting large lines of credit, getting large lines of, like one credit card I have, Capital on tap, they're charging like 30% to pay over time. 30%. That card is kind of at the bottom of my stack, because I have other cards that I'm getting a 0% interest rate, and I can use those versus my Capital on tap. And once again, since my relationship with American Express is really, really important to me, I'm very careful with them. And this is one of the reasons that I use them and I pay them, and I don't carry balances. And then we're running into year 2. So at this point, if I wanted to leave charges on my charge cards, I could at this point, because I've proven myself. But one of the things, and I know you see all of these YouTube commercials where we could teach you how to get $50,000, $100,000. I can tell you straight up, unless you have your tax returns, you're not getting a 6-figure line of credit from any bank outside of PNC. PNC will probably do 10% of your gross income, but I think there's a limit before there's like, hey, we need to see those tax returns. I think there's a limit. So you got to be really, really careful with that. But once again, you need to have your LLCs properly set up. You need to have your holding company. You need to have your holding company checking and all of that stuff set up before you even begin to dip your toe in the business credit waters. And one of the things is, like, literally, I can tell you from personal experience that I got $210,000 in business credit from Truist and American Express from a corporation that I let season. And all of this stuff is things we talk about in the corporate citizen playbook. I know everyone wants to snap their fingers and go out and get all this good stuff, but I'm telling you, you're not going to get the really good stuff, the $50,000 to $75,000 limit credit cards in the 6-figure lines of credit, unless you have tax returns, bank accounts, and some people are going to want a P&L statement, a profit and loss statement of your business, and they're going to want a current P&L statement. So one of the things that you have to do is understand how the game is played. So to help you, go below, check out the Corporate Citizen Playbook, where I teach you all of this stuff and a lot more. Check that link below, and I will see you guys in the next video.